Howdy folks, welcome back to Out of Ore. I've made a couple small changes to the plant, so we'll go over that and then we'll get to moving material. Got a new storage here. It's got some blasted rock in it. Since we did hit a little bit of rock underground, I wanted to go ahead and at least get set storage for that so we can capture it. Might eventually get the the crushers and froth floater and stuff like that going, but for now we're just sticking it in storage. So the way we're doing that is, this is the metal ore sorter. So dirt and pay dirt, let me spit that out, of course goes through the normal wash plant the way it's always done. This pulls out any metal ore that gets in the system, sends it on across to the other side of the plant. And then this used to just go into the storage, and of course it was always coal until we now have stone. So I've colored that kind of a turquoise. So that now comes down here to this, which is a coal screen. And you guessed it, it pulls the coal out. So the coal will go into that, and then we can we can turn pass-through on for that as needed and sell it into the sell point. So that got moved. So then, in theory, the only thing left over is stone. In this case, it'd be blasted rock. So it's called blasted rock, even though I mined it with a pickaxe. That's just the way the game works. So you have solid rock, which you used to be able to just dig, but you can't do that anymore. You have to break it up with explosives, and that turns it into blasted rock, which then you can mine. You can mine solid rock with the pickaxe, and it just turns it into blasted rock. Anyway, that stuff will end up there. For now, that's just gonna accumulate in the storage. And that's it for the plant changes, I think. Oh wait, no, I got one other change. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get the plant turned on while I'm up here. We're going to start processing. I did do another blast here, and I've been cleaning up that pile. Got it mostly cleaned up. So let's go ahead and turn you on. Go ahead and turn you on. Let that percolate. The other change I made is I did get water hooked up to this plant down here, so it's a little more efficient. It took a little finagling, and then it took me a little while to realize why it wasn't working. I forgot it won't feed power from the power plant. It has to have a connection, so I had to put this connection back there, ran a line over, and it works like a champ now. So we got unfiltered water coming in, we get the refined water. I think that's more efficient. I haven't done any testing. If you've done testing of the water, let us know in the comments. But I would think that filtered water would, work better than the unfiltered. But I'm not 100% sure. All right, so we got that going. I'm going to leave this. This is off. Yeah, I'm going to leave that off for now. I'm going to go clean up the rest of this pile, and then we'll head back underground. So we'll hop back in the L11. A good old workhorse here. This pile was quite large after the blast. It's actually mostly cleaned up. A whole lot of coal. I got all that steel processing over there in the was it the roller? I forget what it's called. Might need to get another one of those. We've only got one, but it'll just sit there and work while we're digging. I did look through the recipes. It doesn't look like there's anything worth selling to make from like the copper or the gold. So I'm just going to be selling those ingots. If you know of a better profit chain, do tell. So we're processing the steel, but I didn't see anything really to do with the gold or copper, other than just sell the ingots. And I am capturing the coal right now because I need coal to use with all the steel we're getting, because Down underground, we're into the iron now, so we've got a ton of steel coming out. And then I combine that with the coal to make the steel sheets. So I've been digging. And getting all the coal in that we can. Did I get... yeah, still got 8,900. Used a ton of coal. It's all processing in the steel. I wish I could remember what the thing's called. I'm going to have to run over and look at it. Here, let's just go here. So we go to buildings, workbenches. It is the steel roller. There we go. It's one of them. Might go ahead and get myself set up with a couple of those. Depends on how big the iron deposit is underground. It's looking like it's pretty large. It might be worth getting another few of those just to process faster. It will eventually process. Woo! Got a little squirrely there. I think we got the rear wheels off the ground. Apologize if my voice is a little rough. The allergies have been hitting it hard this week. And throat's been a little scratchy, eyes been a little watery. All that fun stuff. But on the plus side, get a little more bass going. Yeah, get a little more bass. I hear it's all about that bass. If only I could sing. Couldn't carry a tune if you put it in the bucket. That doesn't stop me from singing, though. I used to sing to kids when they were babies. Hold them up on my chest and let the bass rumble. It seemed to work well for calming them down. And they were babies, so they couldn't tell their dad to shut up. Alright, a little bumpy through here, but get this little bit. Right there, can we get some off the ceiling? No. That perspective made it look like I could grab that, but I actually couldn't. Alright, let's get over in here. There we go. It's always a tricky balance to keep the bucket down in the right angle and keep those front wheels in contact with the ground. Lots of little movements going on. Alright, we got a bunch of coal blast down, but we had a ton of pay dirt as well. Oops, I went a little low on that, but it's alright. We'll get ourselves a scoop here. I love the idle sound on these machines. The rest of the sound is not the greatest. Oh yeah, I love it when a good scoop comes together. I think this is mostly dirt over here, so it's not much. But it'll sell. I've actually thought about taking a bunch of that dirt, like right above the cab. There's that slope over there. Kind of angles down. Thought about moving that, but I think it would probably just mess up the ground. So I would like to build out underneath the plant over there on that side. But I won't. We'll just use the hill. So if I ever get crushers and stuff in there, they have quite an elevation change as you go from crusher to crusher. So in that case, the hill would work in our favor. I'm pretty happy with the way the plant is right now. It works for what we're doing with it. Yeah, that'll work. I wanted to get that little blob that was floating in the air. So we just about got this cleaned up, and then we'll head in the ground. I made a bunch of money, so I've got a bunch more parts built. Still have, what, 130 grand, even after buying all the stuff and adding on the water and adding on the extra sorter and line for the stone stuff. So we're doing all right. Doing all right money-wise. And then I've got, get this up here, I've got some stuff there ready to rock underground. There we go. Get a nice full overload. That's what I like to see. So I think this is going to end up being a Friday video. I'm recording it on a Sunday on the weekend. And as I record this, it's Mrs. Kerbo and I's 23rd wedding anniversary. So we're going down to the Italian part of St. Louis downtown later this evening. Gonna go to a nice Italian restaurant, have some good food. So that'll be fun. Time does fly. So we've known each other for a little over a quarter of a century. We dated about 2 years, something like that. I knew when I saw her that she was the one, but it took her a while to come around. Yeah, so mostly just dirt. It needs cleaned up. Not going to make us much money, but it does need cleaned up. So anywho, by the time you see this, it's going to be almost another weekend, but hope you had a good weekend. It's been pretty decent here. We had it cool off a little bit. It's been in like the 60s and 70s. Instead of the 90s or 100. Alright, come here, dirt. Oh, you got quite a snoot full there. I didn't think that was going to be very much. Filled the old bucket right up. push that up against the wall. Makes for easy scooping. Another thing I was thinking about was if we do get a froth floater, we're going to need water. So that area right above the bucket, I think I can tee there and then come down. It'll take a decent amount of pipe to get over to where I'm going, but I think I can make it work. Alright, I think we basically just got a little dirt left, so I think I'm going to switch to underground. Get that going. But before we do that, I want to do a clean out and get that stuff processing. Anything that needs to be processing. So we'll let that set there. We'll run over here. Whee! Oh, we caught it. Look, it's making boxes. Magic boxes. Cool. Got some diamond. Oops. Come here, you. Alright, how are we looking over here? We got that rubber done. Got a little bit of sheets queued up. just a little bit. That's going to queue for a while. Alright, we got a bunch of gold. We got some more silicon. We got a little more steel. We can't do much with that. We'll go ahead and queue up another rubber run. Let's go ahead and sell off that. We got about 8 grand worth of rubies, 4.5 grand worth of diamonds, nearly 40 grand worth of gold. Cool. And then another 12 on the steel sheets, and we got almost 12 on the rubber. Very nice. All right, let's get the diamonds queued up. So we'll do a 70. And 70. And then how many we got on the ruby? 289. Whoops. So it's going to be 145. That's close enough. There we go. Chugging away. And yeah, this thing is queued up. You can see there. To get another one of these, I'd need to expand the pad, though. I do wish it had a smaller snap. Like it's either here or it's embedded in the side of this. You know, I'd like to put it right there. Now you can use the free place, but then it can be slightly floating above and it looks kind of silly. Can't have that. Anyway, we got the main plant running. Let's go work on the underground bit. So now I got to remember when I turn this on, I got to run around here and turn the water on too. Turn that on. Then we can go turn the conveyors on. Turn you on. There we go. Alright, we're way back in here. Get my light on. So we came through the coal and the copper, and then I got right into the iron ore. And that stone was there. So I'm wondering if that copper doesn't go down very far. I'm not sure. I didn't hit any other stone as far as I know along here, so it's interesting that there is stone there. But anyway, I'm getting set up to kind of dig this out a little bit and then keep extending into this iron. And we'll see how that goes. Let's hop in here and get this guy fired up. And let's see, when you get rear open, we'll get this guy turned on. You lower this, but then I need to raise it once the machine starts down the track here. So as the machine tilts down, you tilt this up. I need to keep an eye on my rear end. That's down as low as it can go. just trundle forward. That's about as far as we can go. Cab, I think, is getting a little hung up. So I need to come back this way. And I need to move to the side. Come back a little further. And a little further yet. Yeah, we're still spitting in. Up as far as we'll go. Oops. Didn't get that turned off in time. Alright, let's get trundled out of here. Dump that out. Then we'll get this kind of somewhat center back up. Squeeze past there. Yeah, I did a little dumping here, but we'll get that cleaned up with the pickaxe. There we go. Alright, and then we can get rid of these guys. That worked out fairly well. Something like that. We'll do just a little bit of cleanup here with the pickaxe. Overall, we got kind of a trench cleared out. Alright, how's that going to look if we slap one of these guys on? Is it good enough? Might be good enough. One too far. And of course we need some dump deck on here. There we go. Now we can go a little further. Back over towards the middle. Actually, I should do a top pass. Let me get back over here. It doesn't always grab anything from the top, but we'll try. Yeah, it's just kind of skidding off there. There we go. Alright, bring this back to the middle. I'm gonna need my ramps again. Let me back up. Can I get the top now? Will it dig? No, it just tends to glance off the top a lot. Can't quite get the angle to dig that for whatever reason. Right, bring it back down. So we're still in the iron, it looks like. Yep. So let me do this. Let's bring that down. We'll swap these guys in. Like that. Now let me get down and tunnel. That seems to work pretty well. Works even better when you take the parking brake off. Oops. Wrong key. The ceiling's getting lower. It's not clear on the top. I thought it used to cut the top pretty well. I don't know if I need to start further back or what. It's not cutting the top at all, really. Alright, let's get our cab side cleared. Go. Basically overloaded at this point. I let off the shift key a little too soon. Yeah, see, I'm having trouble getting out of here because it's not clear on the top ceiling like it used to. There we go. Managed to get it past the bump, sorta, kinda. Let's get that back on. I'm gonna back all the way out of here, back to where the ceiling was kind of somewhat normal. Let's see if we can cut the ceiling down any. See, back here I was clearing the ceiling. You can see how high it is. Alright, I need to get it straightened up just a little bit. I really wish I had indicators. On the off chance the developers are watching. Can we get indicators on this thing? Like we have on the dozer? That'd be very useful. Alright, I'm going to just trundle down through here. That heads up as far as it'll go. Let's see if we can get any of this stuff. We're getting an occasional cave-in, which then falls on the conveyor belt. It's handy. Yeah, it's just skimming over. Well, I may end up having to do some blasting or something to clear the ceiling, because this is not cutting at all. Yeah, it just doesn't want to cut up top. For whatever reason. It used to. Just back dragging across there. Well, that's too bad. Auto save. All right. Well, I guess we'll get the blocks put down. So far, we're still rocking right through the iron. Oh, terraforming locked. Derp. Went a little too deep on that. Luckily, it just locks the terraforming. You can still place blocks and stuff. Whee! Alright, we'll put the concrete ramps back down. So I'm going to do a little bit of clearing here. We We're gonna have so much steel up top, it's not even gonna be funny. Yeah, we got you, and then we're there. Perfect. And then, yeah, we're still right in the iron. Beauty. Oh, let's get this. Yeah, that we're not terraform locked anymore. We got out of that when it was making noise, so it just kept making noise. Whoops. I guess that's kind of narrow. Let's see if we can grab that. Clean up that side just a little bit there. There we go. Alright, get this thing somewhat lined back up. I guess we got another side down here. What am I stuck on? Bonk. Oh boy. Yeah, we're stuck on the ceiling down there, actually. Oh, there. Now that I'm at an angle, it'll cut through it. Okay. We'll roll with it. You do you, machine. You do you. Now I'm hung up on that little piece. All the way back here. Back somewhat in the middle. Yep, it's just going to bounce off. There we go. Got it started, maybe. Nope, still gonna bounce off. Now we got past it. Yeah, you gotta kind of fiddle around with the angle. Alright, let's get back somewhat in the middle here. Is that dirt? Hit something. Something different. Now we're headed uphill. We don't want that. No. I guess we're headed uphill. Alright, let's turn off the head. Let that run out. And we'll hide in the pit. I actually want to swap those. Do one of those. Do that. There we go. I want to rotate that. Can't tell which direction that's supposed to go. There we go. Throw you on there. And You're actually probably fine. Let's see if we can get back off of here now. There we go. Yeah, I think that's dirt up there. Let's go see what it is. Yeah, it's like pay dirt. We can tell for sure by grabbing this guy. Pay dirt. Okay. Well, we're almost through the iron ore part of the exercise here. Well, that dug really deep, didn't it? That last time. Almost a little too deep. Alright, let's dig a little bit of that out. Then we'll go upstairs and see how much we got. Right, head back on. Back end is on. Challenge is finding a camera angle. Beautiful. Well, I forgot I was in high gear, but other than that, that was a success. And I even made it back out of here. Very nice. It is getting really low in here. I don't know why it won't cut up top. It'd be great if it would cut up top. Must just be an angle thing. Yeah, they cut a little bit going backwards. I think it's going to just bounce off the ceiling up here. I don't think it's engaging the head enough. So it's just bouncing. That's unfortunate. I can always blast and do a cleanup. If that's pay dirt, we can drill that too. Move a lot of pay dirt with this tunneler. Alright, you go there. A little bit of cleanup with the pickaxe, per usual. Though we're super deep. This is still iron ore. It's a little hard to tell underground with the lights off. All kind of blends together sometimes. Alrighty, so straight on there and straight on there. Must end up going, oops, one block too far. And you guessed it, we get some dump deck on there. Beautiful. Alright, let's clean up the sides a little bit and then we'll head upstairs. Come out near the front again. Let's bring it back. Yeah, the problem is the height now, since I can't get it to dig up any. Maybe we can reverse that trend since we're down here now. We can kind of get started towards up. Doesn't want to dig. Not really. Alright. Well, let's move forward with it up. That'll definitely get us to go upwards. I think we're maybe getting in some coal after the pay dirt pocket. Fuel low. Oh yeah, we have to get some fuel, aren't we? And then it doesn't want to cut. What are we hung up on that it doesn't want to cut? Okay, let's see what this is. That's iron ore, and that's coal. It's pay dirt. What is, it doesn't want to dig. I don't know why it doesn't want to dig, but oh well. We need some fuel, and we need to go upstairs to see what we got going on, so. I'm going to trundle all the way back out of here. Got quite a tunnel. That gives a nice view of the tunnel, just how far we've come back in here. And now we have all kinds of, you know, areas we can branch off to. This is high gear. I did move the fuel tank. It's like on that side instead of that side. I don't know if that means we'll be able to reach it or not. Beep. Beep. I forgot to do the reverse beep. Close that. Good. Whoa. This thing is very sprightly. Oh, right. We get hung up on this. I forgot. We can go through the cable, but not the little sticky up insulator part. Can I get out this direction enough to reach the fuel? Don't know that I can. Nope, that's about as far as I can get. Not quite close enough. Alright, I'll have to do that by hand. That's fine. I assume we're done transferring? Yep. So we're done transferring, so we can turn this guy off. And then how are we looking over here? I don't see the money ticking up. I think we're good. Have any more boxes coming through? Nope, I think we're good. Alright, I'll shut her down, and we'll see what we got to work with here. Go grab some coal. Doink. Doink. We come all the way down here now for a coal, and I kind of almost need a bit of a bridge here. There we go. So, So, not a ton of coal. We got a little bit. And we can just jump out of there. Kind of get stuck on the edge and then get past it. I've made that climb a few times. Alright, what we got in the hopper? Look at that. A little bit of gold, a little bit of copper. Over 2 stacks of steel. Wow. Okay. Fun. We got a little bit of diamond, a little bit of ruby ore, and then a little bit of silicon. Alright, well. We're gonna need another one of these. That much I know. I guess I might as well put that back. Well, I'll keep it in there. Let's get these cleaned out. You got another 7 minutes to go. On your batch, that's fine. Okay, we have diamond ore, 57. Alright, cool. Let's do like 28. That'll work. How much we got on the ruby? 112. So we'll just queue that up. Let that run. And then we can get another batch of rubber going. Got a little bit there. Oh, and actually I forgot to run the copper ore through there. So we'll go put that in the plant, let it do its thing. I could do it by hand, but we got the plant here to do it, so we'll just toss that in there. Okay, we can do a sell-off now. We can say 8 grand worth of gold, 7 grand, 15 grand, and then I could sell a stack of steel for 181,000. I think I'd rather make it into stuff. So I'm pretty sure, I forget what the markup is. I have a Google sheet somewhere that tells me the markup, but so a sheet takes steel and 2 coal. Coal sells for like $5, I think. So it is worth it to do the sheets unless something has changed. So I think what we need to do is get another one of these. I might be able to stick one in there. So let's take an Uber down to town. And then I think if we go into buildings, workbenches, yeah. Let's grab another steel roller. And we'll get that set up. I have you on Snap. Yeah, and then I can still kind of get around it and get to these guys. I think that'll work. How much coal did I have? I do have some coal, so we can do this now. I do have the steel in here. Alright, let's do it. These all loaded up. Full run across the board. Sell those off. Still got a good chunk of steel. We got a little bit of coal left. Oh yeah, we've got almost 2 stacks of steel left. So I need to be digging coal. And we'll just let this churn. It's just printing money. I might even expand that further. We'll see. Anywho, I think that'll do it for this video. I'm gonna keep on digging. I need to do a little more cleanup here and then another blast, and we'll get this down. I think I'll basically this line. I don't need to do anything to the left of that. Keep bringing that down. Now, what we could do is get one of those shovels. What do they call them? Mass excavation. There we go. But the cheapest one of these is 5 million. so I don't know that we'll be doing that. Front shovel, maybe. If I was doing multiplayer, front shovel might be fun. But you know, doing the front shovel and then trying to have conveyors, it's more trouble than I want to go to. It's doable, yes. The loader is just the best option. So I'm going to keep on using the loader. I don't know that I necessarily want to go any bigger than the L11. Because then you're talking like serious money, like 2 million or better. So I think we're just going to stick with the L11. It's our main workhorse. And we'll just keep on running it. Speaking of workhorse, how's your parts doing? Oh, you're doing fine. Nice. Alrighty, folks. That'll do it for this one. Thanks as always for hanging out. And I'll catch you in the next adventure. Take care.